Hello, I'm Elgato and welcome back to the video. Today we're talking about something really significant which happened exactly 5 years ago as of me making this video, because on October the 7th, 2012, the Anvil was officially revealed for the very first time in Minecraft. At the time, it looked like it was just some replacement for the enchantment table or a way to rename items. It really didn't seem like it had a use, but just 3 days later we saw it was going to be an Anvil, and after that time it's just been having more and more functionality added, which meant it went from being something which we didn't really think we needed to being one of the most important, necessary, and iconic items in Minecraft. So today we'll be talking about the Anvil and its long history. Hopefully you do enjoy it. You can like the video if you do like it, because it helps out the channel, and let's know you do enjoy this whole video. But with that said, let's get straight into talking about exactly why the Anvil is so important today, and also, I guess, really, the fact that it's 5 years old blew my mind, and I want to just go over that quickly, because, the Anvil was, first revealed 5 years ago, but to me it still feels fairly new. It came from 1.4.2 on the PC, which means that there was, 4 years of Minecraft before that happened, 3.5 years of Minecraft before that happened, and it's kind of crazy that we're, past the halfway point of even stuff like this being old now, but that's just how Minecraft is. So if you remember the Anvil being old too, then it is only 5 years old, and that to me, it's kind of crazy that it is so old, despite being a relatively new item. So in case that I want to get that straight off the way for me, was the fact that yes, it was revealed October 7th, 2012, and we then saw the actual Anvil image on October the 10th, 2012, but it wasn't until 1.4 where we officially saw it in the game itself. And as a fun little fact, it was only between some of the development versions, but the recipe for the Anvil is quite well known by most people. I mean, I make a lot of mistakes of it, but the Anvil looks something like this, right? You get 4 iron ingots, then you get some iron blocks at the top, and that's how that works. However, if you actually look at the recipe, this seems a little bit illogical, because you can see how there's this giant slab of iron here, clearly you need iron blocks, and then there's a thin middle bit, and then there's a big slab at the bottom, but for some reason that only uses iron ingots too. Well, this is because they actually used to have a different recipe for the iron Anvil. You can actually, this is what it used to look like. It used to just be blocks of iron on the bottom and on the top, just like this, and then the only thing you needed was 1 iron ingot in between. This meant it actually required 55 ingots to make, and I believe the reason they did decide to change it was because it was just so inordinately expensive. It was essentially a whole stack of iron, and they decided it was worth changing for that reason, or perhaps another one. But yeah, it was only for a few small development versions, and it's one fact that a lot of people don't know. So yeah, when the item did finally come out, they decided to change the texture from being how it originally was to looking like this. It's a very subtle change, but this is the Anvil we've seen ever since then, and it's unlikely we'll see the Anvil change anytime soon. But yeah, this is the Anvil, and then also these are the 2 other Anvils. You might not know about these if you've never used the Anvil, because they're not even on the creative menu on the old console version of Minecraft, but there is in fact 2 other types of Anvil. They slightly damaged Anvil, and there is the very damaged Anvil. So if you don't know, there is a random chance, again, it's very typical Minecraft fashion that we have this very useful item which allows you to rename or to combine enchantments, because again, it's not just an enchantment table replacement, it's a way to add any enchantment to any weapon. Do you want to have mending on your sword, so you get that whole sort of thing? You can do that. And yeah, but if you want to have protection on your armor, you can make anything happen inside your craft interface on the Anvil. So that's kind of amazing right there. It's a way to combine enchantments, combine enchanted stuff. You can even use it to repair items. As you can see right here, we have an iron shovel. We can use either iron ingots, which you should never really do, but you could use iron ingots to repair your shovel, or you could use another whole shovel, and you can get your shovel back to full health. This is a good way if you have enchanted stuff in particularly, because if you don't, then you can just do it in your crafting table. But still, the Anvil allows you to do so many different things, and that's kind of crazy like that. So yeah, the Anvil isn't, however, just like a way to do that, because every single time you do any of these operations, then if we were to do that, for instance, if we do this, you're going to hear how the Anvil makes a sound. That sound then has a chance to actually break the Anvil down to a low level. So when you have an Anvil that looks like this, there is a chance that any time you do something, the Anvil will poof out of existence and be gone forever. So just keep that in mind. There is 3 types of Anvils. You might not have seen these other 2, but as your Anvil gets more and more cracked, it kind of loses its effectiveness. And yeah, although most people in their Minecraft lives never probably go through an Anvil, especially if you have more than one, it is technically possible to do, and it's also kind of sad to do. By the way, you can also do this using full damage. So if I wanted to, for instance, I could drop that down there, and assuming it fell on some hard ground, there's a chance that it would in fact die. So yeah, that's actually a pretty crazy place for it to drop. Let me drop this one too, just so we can see that happen. And yeah, basically you can in fact make that happen, and it's a quite fun fact. So yeah, so basically let's continue with the history of this thing though. So it was added with the purpose of combining enchantments, repairing items, and allowing you to actually rename your items as well, because fun fact, you can in fact do that. But at the first, it really wasn't used for too much of that. It was used for combining enchantments sometimes, but the other things were just too expensive to be worthwhile. So since then, then, they have reduced the cost of pretty much everything, but the things it's allowed you to do, now those costs have been reduced, is pretty nuts. For instance, they made it so that you could add shears with Silk Touch, you know, something which was never possible before. You couldn't enchant shears, of course, but you could combine shears of enchantments, which meant cobwebs were obtainable in survival for the very first time. They made it so you could rename name tags when name tags came out, and this meant that if you named them after the developer, because like we mentioned earlier, it was actually Dinnerbone that, you know, made the Anvil. So if you rename your item tag. The item tag? If you rename your name tag to be called Dinnerbone, after the developer that did make it, then a fact that most of you are probably aware of, but you might not all be aware of, is the fact that this will give you upside down mobs. It's a fun little Easter egg that you get in exchange for that, because, again, as of 1.8, renaming items is very cheap and very easy to do now. And if you do rename any item, any mob in the game after this, then as you're going to see, you get the upside down mob. So, yeah, that's a fun little Easter egg you get right there, which I think is a key part of, like, why the Anvil's so fun. It doesn't just allow you to give you, it doesn't just give you this amazing survival utility, it doesn't just allow you to create stuff that was never creatable before, but it also gives you access to fun Easter eggs like the Dinnerbone and the Grum ones. So yeah, as time went on, they made it so you know, a bunch of you know, different stuff got renamed, and the interfaces got reworked and stuff, but it's remained very similar, you know, for the most part to how it did there, just getting more usable with more reductions in cost and more stuff like that. One of the crazy ones, in my opinion, is the fact that they actually allowed, because of the you know, Anvil, they were allowed to have you know, enchanted books in general. So enchanted books didn't exist before the Anvil. Why would they, right? But you could get enchanted books because of the Anvil. You know, you have to use the enchantment table, but you get those because of the Anvil. And then we even got later the next level of enchanted book, which was the rare treasure one. These couldn't be enchanted themselves. You can only find these in the wild, which means the two most powerful enchantments in the game would not be possible were it not for the Anvil. There's Frostwalker, if you don't know, and there is Mending. Mending is such a powerful enchantment. I'd say it's like the one everyone is always after, and the fact that both these enchantments became was only possible because of the Anvil, which I think is kind of a fun fact, and is another reason to appreciate the Anvil a little bit more. So yeah, this is 5 years history of the Anvil. It was added, it had its you know, crafting recipe changed, it has its whole purpose changed, it had its cost changed, it has its texture changed, everything about it changed, but yet it still remained the same. And there's very few items in Minecraft you can say that for. Like, you can't, you know, if you look at the Creeper, everything changed. If you look at this, everything changed. But the Anvil is very much similar, despite being more and more usable, despite having more and more utility. And I think it's a really great example of what an item in Minecraft can be, and also it's quite late game, so it's really great for people who've been playing a while. So yeah, have you ever broken my Anvil in Minecraft? I'd love to know. Like this video if you did like it, because it helps out the channel a lot. Let us know you do enjoy this sort of video. Share if you really liked it, and subscribe if you're new around here. I make videos like this one every single day on my channel. And let me know if you want to see more like history off videos, giving you a very brief rundown of what happened in the history, because I think it's rather fascinating.